Hello, everybody. Thank you and welcome. This is Own Your Gifts, episode 10. We're very excited to have a very special guest join us today. But before we get started, Joey, how you doing, brother?
Fantastic. Like I say every week, I really enjoy this 30, 40 minutes we get to spend with each other. And, the guests that we get on, we get to connect a little deeper with. And so I'm excited to be here. Oh, happy Christmas Eve day.
Thank you, Joey. I don't know if that's a thing, happy Christmas Eve, but I really appreciate it. You're looking very fresh, Joey. You had a haircut.
No, man. I'm just starting to feel better.
Guys, if you're joining us for the first time, thank you very much. Welcome. This is a show where we talk about overcoming adversity and growing our attitude of gratitude for sure. And each week we have a special guest. So if you're joining us again, please drop your comments. Let us know where you're watching from. And if not, if it's your first time, welcome. Let us bring our very special guest, Joey, onto the show. I'll let you do some introductions before we get started. Hello, Rocio. Pleasure.
Hello. What a pleasure, Danny and Joey. Such a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm really excited. Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I know it's coming right around the corner. Time flies when you're having fun, and especially these moments here.
A pleasure to meet you, Rocio. And you're coming from Denver, I believe.
I am. I'm joining you from Denver today. Very exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting.
No snow yet.
No snow yet, huh? It's pounding Utah. Yet. Utah's getting pounded.
Are they getting pounded? Hopefully they share some of that snow here for Christmas.
Yeah, I like the snow. There's nothing happening in New Jersey. And it's summer in Australia, right?
It's pretty warm. It's
Santa Claus is wearing shorts, right? Bermudas?
Danny doesn't wear pants when he does the podcast at all.
Oh no.
He does. He does. Yeah. I'm very professional. It's a great time for us to be sharing and hearing from you, Rocio. Joey, you want to get us started?
Yeah. Before the idea here is to spotlight Rocio, so she can tell us a little bit of her story of overcoming adversity and how she uses the character that was built and the perseverance that was built and the strength that was built and the lived experience to help others, to lift other people's hands and show them the way. But we do like to start off the show in a very specific way where it's like a little mini inventory, or, I like to call them wins, and basically sharing quickly what we've done well today. I think that's really important, that we always identify and celebrate what we've done well on a daily basis, no matter how small, and what we can aim to do better tomorrow, which is always good because we can always do a little better while maintaining, our permission to be human. So, Danny, you want to start us off? What have you done well today? I know it's early there on Christmas. Merry Christmas Eve day.
Thank you. Thanks, Joey. And we were just talking about the elf on the shelf, and I'm quite chuffed that the elf will be going back to Santa today. But along those same lines, I've actually, as I always do, left things to the last minute, but I've wrapped presents. It's been an extremely busy morning. I've just finished work. It is only 11 a.m. Taken someone to detox. And got things ready for our Christmas Eve dinner tonight. I'll be going to the theme family, which is I put a Santa hat on tonight, and I'll be giving out the presents to all the nieces and nephews and my kids as well. So I'm extremely excited actually. Christmas here, I'm sure it's probably the same with you, but Rocio, I don't know if you know, but I've been in a journey of recovery for the past 12 years. And previous to that, I had no idea and no exposure to Christmas really. But certainly the last 6 or 7 years, I've really become aware of this beautiful sense of calmness around here, right where I live, especially today and tomorrow, just quiet. I love the quiet and the beautiful lights up everywhere. So it's a special time of the year for me. It never used to be, but I certainly acknowledge that today. And something I could do better tomorrow, and this is probably goes for everything, is a little more preparation. I'm aware of my lack of preparation. I often think I can just pull things off, at the last minute. And I do. It's worked to now, but sometimes I would function so much better if I just prepared a little. So yeah, that's my little inventory for today. Well, I do this little personal inventory every day, Rocio. It's a great way for me to stay connected and not acknowledge the good things that I'm doing each day, and also have a think about what I could possibly do better tomorrow. So we'd love to hear from you, Rocio. Something you've done well today, and something you could do better tomorrow.
Well, most definitely, giving myself the time and the space that it's okay to go through my own journey today. I just needed to hang out, veggie out for literally just minutes on the couch, do nothing, and then get back to work. Something that I can do better is being more empathetic and compassionate when I'm going through my own processes with others. So that's definitely something that's important to do.
I can certainly relate to something I could do better as well with that, Rocio. Thank you very much for sharing, Joey.
Yeah, thank you, Danny. Thank you, Rosia. What I've done well today, I did a lot well today, which is great. But I feel like the most important thing I did well that is I think of a result of I don't know, maybe it's in the air, maybe it's some recent healing, but I spent a little extra time today when I was out and about at the stores, at the gym, connecting with other people, spending a few extra moments and just giving, chatting with somebody, just giving them a smile. I was out walking my neighbor's dog who he hangs out with me during the day, and I chatted up with a few people on a walk, and it just, I don't know, it just brought me joy. And so I did that well today. And what I could do better tomorrow is I think I know I can be a better listener, and to actively listen without a motive of trying to take away somebody's pain or fix it or help, just simply bringing presence to a conversation and allow somebody to feel how they feel. Like a lot of times I think this is some of my codependent behavior, but a lot of times, when somebody's suffering, I'm thinking about a solution for them. And if I'm thinking about a solution for them, then I'm not listening to them. So I'm going to aim to do better with that tomorrow. So next, Rocio, we would like to hear from you. Rocio and I met here on LinkedIn, and we're part of the One Golden Nugget community. And we get to speak a lot. And she's one of those people who was of service to me from the very first second we ever connected. And I have a feeling that's how she goes through life. But she had a really rough start in life, and the odds were tremendously stacked against her. And her story is so powerful and moving, and it just shows not only the power of human potential, but what you can do with vision, with commitment, with persistence, with belief. And she spends most of her time, helping others traverse the same territory. So Rocio, if you would honor us with, telling us a little bit about your starts in life and how it was that you got out and how you're doing today to help other people. We also want to hear about her book, Unstoppable, and also the Mind Shift Game, which I'm pretty excited about, and I think is coming out this new year. So Rocio, the stage is yours.
Thank you, and what an honor and a privilege. Well, I grew up like every little child, running around thinking that I could become anything I wanted to become, and I wanted to become a teacher. So I'd run around with my tattered books, talking to anybody that would listen. And I would tell people, I am going to become a teacher. And I love school. I love learning. I loved anything that had to do with education because I knew someday that I would be making an impact like that teacher on TV. I remember her being in front of the little children. I was just fascinated by that. Yet my reality was very far-fetched. I grew up in extreme poverty, extreme abuse from a very young age of all types. As a matter of fact, I contemplated suicide at 5 and didn't think I could continue living life. And I lived in this imaginary world. Something stopped me in that moment. And it continued to draw me towards it to live the life that I continued to live every day. I started to imagine that I knew that the world that I lived in would not be the world that I lived in the future. By the time I was 12, we had moved so many times, and it wasn't like the movers are coming or any of that. It was my mother would pack whatever would fit in the trunk of a car with 5 children and 2 adults. She would decide, and that was it. We started from square one over and over again. By the time I was 12, I had enough. I knew one thing for certain. Either I run away from home or I die. And I looked at my grandmother one day and I said, "Grandma, you know they're going to kill me." And her response is, "I know." And I pleaded to her, "I need you to help me." And therefore, I ran away from home at a very young age. And life was better. It wasn't like amazing, it wasn't extraordinary. It was better. I had a lot of trauma, drama, turmoil that I was going through internally. Nobody understood what that looked like or could even support me on my journey. But I continue to hang on to that belief that I can create anything that I want. I can create anything that I want in my life. And I saw it. I saw it on TV. I know it exists. It exists somewhere out there. And that's what I did. I started to connect with that. By the time I was 14, I was going to be returned with my parents. And I said, no way. There's no way. If they didn't kill me the first time, they will definitely kill me this time based on running away. And therefore, I ran away again. This time, 14 years old, my 22-year-old boyfriend. And you would guess it, 2 weeks later, I was pregnant. At the age of 15, figuring life out, things were better. They weren't ideal. Still in another abusive relationship. And figuring, how do I get through this? I knew one thing for certain is if I didn't go out and create an opportunity for my son, there was going to be no future for him, not the one that I wanted. And therefore, at the age of 15, I ended up divorcing my parents so that I can go to university. And I did get accepted into university. If you can only imagine, I did divorce at the age of 15. And against all odds, I remember a mentor at the time, she came and screamed at me when she knew that I was not going to go to high school. And I said, no, why would I go to high school? People were partying and smoking and drinking and all of the above. And I'm like, that's the life that I ran away from. Like, I don't want any of that. Like, I knew what it was doing. Kids weren't respected. We weren't being paid attention to or anything. I said, I want to create a different world for my son. And therefore, after I ran away and I decided that I was going to go to university, it was a journey. By the time I was 17 years old, I was traveling on a bus almost 4 hours just to get to school in the morning. I'd get up, go to bed at midnight, get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, start packing lunches, diaper bag, backpack. If you can only imagine walking with a backpack, it's heavy enough with books. Now a 2-year-old in my arms in the snow, diaper bag, trying to figure it out. And if I had time, I would eat my cold burrito in the morning while I crossed campus and made it to class, and then do my reverse trip in the evening. And it was a journey. It taught me so much. I finally escaped that relationship. And I say escaped. I knew that I needed, in order for me to live the life that I wanted, I needed to get away. And it was something that I consciously made that choice. And we ended up being homeless. We were homeless, and I was in university working 2 jobs, figuring things out. And I just kept going and going and going, and it led me to guide other students. But I didn't even have a GED. I didn't have a high school education. There I was guiding people and helping them figure things out. And it was an extraordinary journey throughout the years. I became a serial entrepreneur to help people do the same thing. I sold them belief. I sold them confidence. I sold them the energy that they too can do what it is that they wanted to do in life, no matter what people said to them. Because along my journey, even my own family would say, "You're never going to make it." I'm like, if I can bring that belief in myself, I can bring it and share it with others. And which is what I did. I shared those thoughts and energy and help people go along their own journey. And today that leads me to I've overcome a head-on collision where I was almost in a wheelchair. I was 25. I have overcome cancer. At least none of that has any strength over me at this moment. And knowing that anything is possible and probable. Today, my son's 31 years old. I have a 6-year-old grandson, and life is just beginning for me to know what is possible and probable, to guide people, to show them what they can do. And the Mindshift Game Journey, I'm sure you probably have copies of the book over on your end, Joey, for the screen. But there's the Mindshift Game Journey, and it's like, if this little girl who didn't have a hope in the world can do it, anyone can do it. It takes confidence. It takes belief. We must be able to see ourselves in a world that we're not in yet until we become that person that is in that world. And soon enough, one day, I felt like I woke up and I was in the middle of this ballroom with ambassadors of countries, with presidents of countries, presenting in front of members of parliament and having these extraordinary opportunities that you could have never told me. The fact that I just kept on moving forward, if you would have said, Lucio, just keep moving forward, you're going to see that. It was something that I had to experience in life. And I feel like I've been very blessed and very privileged to have those opportunities and to create them for myself and to create it for others, to help them see their own journey. I've seen people who can barely walk actually climb up in a ropes course, go across the wire. I have seen them shine their light like they've never shined. I have seen them more alive at their age than what they've ever been alive. And I think that's an honor and a privilege to be able to go through all those experiences.
Wow. Thank you, Rocio. Wow. May I just say, yeah, what a crazy story. And I don't know if this is right, but I just want to say I'm sorry that you went through that, as a child. Like I've got a 4-year-old daughter, and that stuff always, I really feel it, So thank you so much for sharing, and so inspirational what you have overcome. The hope, I heard that you had hope, at that age where you decided not to take your life. You got that little bit of hope, and look where you are. It's amazing.
Yes, you can just keep moving forward when you can see the future. You can live in the future. And that's the most important thing that I can share with somebody. You can see the future, you can live in the future.
Yeah, thank you, Rocio. If you don't mind, I'll say a few things. And it does break my heart to hear that. What really stuck out to me is you called it an imaginary world at an age of 5. And, what you were really doing is you were creating a vision for yourself. And you were committing to that vision, and you were moving towards it. So it's like, I'm sure at some point, as you got a little older, you figured out that was, that was the recipe. Like the recipe was, creating a future vision for yourself with very clear intention. And it's just remarkable that was instinctual to a 5-year-old.
Yes.
And just as every time I get to speak to you, Rocio, I leave with a little more belief in myself, and that's how I feel now. So thank you for sharing that. I would. Do you have one of those games with you?
I do, as a matter of fact. And here's something interesting.
Is there anything interesting there that we could play with for a few minutes?
Oh my gosh.
A card or a question or something that we could show the audience?
That'd be amazing.
I was just thinking about it.
About that. Okay, so when I was a little kid, what I discovered in my life was the fact that I was using the most powerful forces that we have as humans. To have affirmations, to use visualization, to look at belief, and to be able to take bold actions. What I did is I figured, what was it that I was selling to people in my life? It was courage, the courage to continue to move forward. It was to help them tap into their confidence. How do I boost up my confidence as an individual? How do I expand my vision to truly authentically see the vision that I have here now? And then how do I own my power? How many people haven't lost their power? And especially around this time, thinking of how many of us are wondering about the uncertainty. We're tired of what's going on today. How do we shift that? And of course, I have one that says energy. I think I have it as a green screen on the background, so it's not showing
That's
well.
okay.
There's,
Yeah.
there's a green card that says energy on here, and it has a beautiful hummingbird. So one of the things that we can play with, can you imagine waking up in the morning and just saying to yourself, I am powerful. And like we could even say it right here. What would it take to say it for 30 seconds? I'm powerful, I'm powerful, I'm powerful. And to repeat that affirmation over and over again until we'll feel it in our body as we hear our voice shift into that. And then just start deciding, what is it that I want to do today? What do I want to do? Let's say that even that other affirmation, these are customized affirmation cards. Each and every card has an affirmation. People take 3 affirmation cards from a specific category every single day. And imagine if you're reading, I am courageous even when I feel fear. How many of us don't feel fear? Like, let's be honest, right? There's moments, even as a speaker, that I go on a stage and I'm saying, ooh, I'm not sure about this moment here now. And
Sure.
I must call on that courage. I must call on that everything, that vision of what's possible and probable for me, to even say, okay, what would I do in this moment? If I have 3 things to do to work on my dreams today, what would it be? I mean, what would it be for you, Joy? What would it be for you, Danny? If you were to take 3 actions today, what would they be towards your dreams? And they must be bold. They must be new actions, something that's outside of your comfort zone, because everything that we desire is outside of our comfort zone. If it's not making us uncomfortable, we haven't dug deep enough to what we desire. So what would it look like? For me, maybe it's calling, the president of IBM, who knows, some organization to go and train their people. What does it look like for me to journal and reflect and be able to see my life? The game is fascinating. I discovered where people would walk in, they would lose their confidence, and it's through affirmations that they would gain it. I had a woman walk in one day. She was defeated, and I knew this woman pre the cancer experience that she had. She, over a year period, she lost her business. Her marriage was hanging on by threads. Cancer was not any better a year later. She was still figuring it out. Her kids were out of control. She walks in defeated. I knew her as Superwoman. And in less than 2 hours, through the power of affirmations, through the power of belief, through the power of power, the power of vision, the power of courage and confidence, she walked out there like Wonder Woman again. What is that worth for us to be able to go through a journey? This game is an 8-week journey. Every round, there's 6 rounds in a year. People play the game on their own. They play it inside of a community. They play it with a partner. You can play the game however you want to play it. There's a journal, there's a game board. There's even a beautiful game board where you can see every day at the end of the night, you can put it into the next block and say, okay, I mastered this one today. And I did the best that I could today. Celebrate that. We have a tendency to look at the past. Let's look at the future. Let's look at what I'm celebrating before it even comes to fruition. So that's what I would say. Affirmation, 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 meditation. We have 5-minute meditations that I'm on fire. I listen to those meditations. I'm like, world, get out of my way. I'm right here.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to getting my hands on one of those games. When will it be to market?
This will be to market. We will start our pre-sales in January. So be on the lookout for those pre-sales. And we are committed to bring this out. I want this game. Here's the reality. In my journey, I was working with individuals who were able to pay a lot of money. And I'm talking about $20,000, $30,000, $60,000 a year to work with one individual. And I said, this shouldn't be for only those that can afford it. Let's be honest. I came from a very impoverished background. There was a moment in my life that I came to my knees because I couldn't even afford to buy my son a pair of shoelaces and a gallon of milk. I had to make a choice, one or the other. And I wanted to make sure that I made this game accessible to everyone. I want to bring it into people in rehab. I want to bring it into women, single mothers, people, entrepreneurs. I want to bring it into the formerly incarcerated. I want to bring it even to the people that are incarcerated. I want to bring it to anyone and everyone. We will bring it out to children in the future as well. We will be launching it in English first, Spanish second. We'll go into French and then followed by Portuguese in the
Sure.
physical game. And so we have a membership site that will also be coming up. And we're really, really inspired to be able to be those beacons of light to show people who we came here to be in this world. And I truly believe who we came here is like this flower. Just think about a rose right now, beautiful red rose. Everything that that rose needed was inside that seed to its perfection. The type of petals that it would have, the type of stem, the flowers, the thorn, the everything that it would have. We are just like those flowers. And it takes someone or something to bring it out of us to help us remember who we came here to be and shine light on our own journeys.
Cool. I love it. I love it, Rocio. And I do understand the power of those affirmations, but turning it into like a real structured process, which is what I'm hearing, and a very regular process to and I've personally seen the benefits of how that stuff can work. And I love the way there's a little bit of you get to like the next level with the little game part. So sounds amazing.
You do, and I'm really, really excited about that and seeing how people can really benefit. I could only imagine, if it's another little Rocio, and here's the green one, but oh no, still green screen.
The green screen.
Little child, little person, as we bring it out to children to start feeding their souls. And children listen to 450 no's or negative comments a day
Yeah.
for every 50 yeses. You have a little child, right? You get it. How like
Yeah.
don't move there, don't do that, Oh. And I learn how even with my grandson, I learn, Emilio, let's go this way. Instead of don't go there, let's go this way. Because you cannot take something out of their mind once you've said it. You cannot not think about the green elephant on the pink ball, right? And how about we start programming ourselves the way that we desire? We're the only creature in this world, in this universe, that can do that.
Very true.
Well, I'm lit up. So, you mentioned fear, and you mentioned, you briefly said, what can you do today to, that is outside of your comfort zone, but not just barely outside of your comfort zone, to shoot high. And I'd like to say that I have no fear, but it actually runs my life. I have awareness of it now, and what I've learned about fear is that if I freeze, it grows, and if I run, it fucking chases me. But if I go into it and move through it, I get spit out the other side, in a whole better place. And so typically I like to look at fear as a green light. I fall short often, but I'd like to share this because it's really big for me, actually. And like I have really bad knees, from traumatic osteoarthritis. I have no cartilage in my knees, and I've been in pain for 13 years. And as I continue to recover and I continue to grow and I continue to create, the person who I want to be, like create that, that vision for myself, and I keep moving towards it, whether they be tiny steps or crawling. I just want to feel less and less limited. And, I've been to several doctors and they're like, well, you're kind of young. It's a little, too soon to do knee replacements. You're going to need new ones in 15 years. And the other day it just popped into my head, man. And, I wanted to hear that because I'm terrified of that shit. Like, it's a serious surgery. It pales in comparison to some of the things that we heard here tonight, but it's a serious surgery. And I'm also a recovering addict. And, to have both my knees replaced and my bones sawed off and screws in place, there's a good chance there's going to be some narcotics in my system. And I'm really scared of that. But in that moment, what hit me was that, like, me being as limited as I am, like I'm at the point where I have a hard time going down. I can't go down the stairs like 1 foot at a time. Like, and I feel really limited, and I just feel more and more alive every day. And I said, this doesn't fit within my future vision of myself. Not 15 years ago, today. And I made a decision to schedule that surgery, and in the middle of February, and I'm terrified, but I'm moving forward in faith, and I know because I'm moving towards a new self and a vision of myself that I'm going to get everything that I need. I'm going to get all the support I need. I'm going to get the love I need. I'm going to get support from higher forces, and I'm going to get through this, and I'm going to defy the odds, and I'm going to recover. And that's new to me, like to be struck by that, and to listen to it and to take that step forward. Now it's not February 19th, like nobody can force me to go into the hospital, but each and every time I think of it, I remind myself of my vision, and I remind myself of who I want to be today. And I never knew that I had a choice, of who I get to be, but we get to craft that moment to moment to moment to moment, and we can shift gears, and we can, stay open for the universe to work out the details. But thank you for sharing that, and Rocio, and it just around my mouth a little too long, but I just wanted to share that with both of you and our audience, and although it does seem minor, it's a big victory for me.
Absolutely, Jerry. So go, Rocio.
Thank you for sharing that. It's so powerful to speak so authentically, right? And it just comes from the heart. Thank you for sharing that. And there's so much love. People are here as healers, as individuals who want to see us, who want to support us. And sometimes we must trust. And let me tell you, I've been through some experiences where all I had was trust and belief, because it wasn't a pretty experience. It was a rough experience. And I have fallen on I have cried, I have skipped, I have danced, I have done it all in my own healing and understanding that it's okay to do the hokey pokey and turn yourself around, right? To know that we can open up our heart, that we can look at the things that we don't want to look at, so that we can be able to have the things that we desire.
Absolutely. Yes, again, I'd like to say thank you so much, Rocio. And Joey, I'm excited for you too, mate. That's wonderful news that you're doing that. We're coming to an end. Joey, how do we wrap this show up, mate?
Yep. Thank you, Rocio. Thank you, Danny. That was very inspirational for me. I'm sure everybody out there listening
no doubt.
Feels a little more enthusiastic about life, and a little less like a victim. And we like to wrap up the show with sharing a tool, an exercise, a strategy. Some of those tools were shared by Rocio when she was demonstrating the mind shift game, of how to plug into and generate the higher force of gratitude. And I guess I can start off because it really jives with everything that we're talking about. And it's a gratitude practice that I use. It's being grateful for something. It looks like we lost Rocio.
Yeah, no, she was frozen. Thank you for just stopping for a sec. Are you there, Rocio?
I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
We got no vision of you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't see you, but hey.
I'll put you backstage for one more second. Let me see if this fixes it up. No, you're there, but we seem to have lost your image.
Oh,
okay. We can hear her though. She's got a gratitude tool
okay.
for us.
Right. Let me see if this fixes it here. Does that fix it now?
No. I wonder what it is.
Well,
okay,
I'll share my gratitude practice because it definitely jives with what we're talking about, and it's and it definitely falls into the category of visualization, and to be grateful for things or events or feelings or relationships or opportunities that have not yet manifested itself in your physical world. I think that's advanced form of gratitude. But there's so many, there needs to be a foundation that's laid, and that's being grateful for everything that we have, and stop paying attention to what we don't have, and especially the little seemingly insignificant things. But this is more of a vision, more of a visualization, and it's just simply like thinking about, saying to yourself, feeling it, what you want in the future that isn't yet, isn't quite, you don't know necessarily the path, and isn't actually in your physical world. So that's my tip.
Thanks, Joey. Would like to hear from you, please.
Most definitely. The power of gratitude. I'm going to echo that too. We must be able to see ourselves in a future in order to be in the future. And we must be able to believe. If I can leave somebody with an exercise right now that very tangible, just to say, stand in front of the mirror and say, I take my power back. Stand at attention. Stand in your power. I take my power back. I take my power back. I take my power back. Do that for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and see what happens. And then go out and do the very things that used to scare the pants off of you, right? The living lights out of you, like, whoo, like, let me just bring all that energy back into me, because you know what? You are worthy of success. You are worthy of life. You are worthy of everything that it is that you're seeking. And what you're seeking is seeking you. And understand that it will come to you once you be that person, realign with the person that you came here to be.
Amazing. Sweet. Goes back to the affirmational stuff, doesn't it? It's beautiful. Let me just try and run through this one quickly. Have a think about somebody in your life who has had a big impact on you, somebody who's taught you something, somebody who you think about often and reflect about, the impact that they've had on your life. And then make down some notes, write a letter, basically letting that person know how grateful you are for the impact that you've had on them, that they've had on you, and just in saying that, okay, in acknowledging, putting something down on paper like that about acknowledging the impact somebody else has had on you can improve your levels of happiness by up to 4%, they suggest, by writing it down on paper. But if you then go ahead and give that person a phone call, or you reach out to them and connect with them and let them know personally about that impact that they've had on you and how grateful you are, can improve our levels of happiness by up to 19%. Apparently science states this. It's a little group that I run yesterday at work. And the thing is, every time I do run that group, and the guys who are brave enough to make that phone call afterwards are always extremely grateful that they did. It's an uncomfortable process, but it's getting out of your comfort zone, just as we've suggested. So, guys, thank you very much.
Danny, thank you for that. That's a beautiful reminder.
Very, very good. Rocio, thank you so much for your honesty and sharing that story with me. So heartwarming, and I'm so proud of you for what you're doing. And I love listening to you too. Is there any way people could contact you? Is there anything you'd like to share your details with people?
Most definitely. People can reach me on LinkedIn. We're on LinkedIn. They can also call me directly. My number is 303-587-8367, 303-587-8367. I'm at rocio@inventivaconsulting.com. All over LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram.
Amazing.
Sweet. Take her up on that.
All right, guys, everyone who joined us today, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to have we won't be back next week. Joey, have we got somebody lined up for next week?
No, we don't have anybody lined up for next week yet. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yes, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for interacting. We appreciate your support. Such a pleasure once again, Rocio. Just bear with us for a moment. I'm going to end the live. Thank you, guys.